Hey guys, I wanted to just take a few moments to talk to you a little bit about choosing a project. And I went back through several years of previous classes to look at the types of projects that had been done before. So let me just go through this list. So one person had a project for a clinical trial management system, and they were pulling data for all major processes, developing and implementing anonymous surveys, and reviewing the structure of clinical trials. And they were doing this in preparation for a particular meeting that was coming up. Another project was a computer build. And the student really wanted to just learn the technology of the computers better by building a computer. Here's a project for planning the advertising and promotion of Blood Rock trailers. And it included YouTube video equipment, storyboard, editing, pickups, music, final editing, and video release. Another project for Learn Python programming language, and the project would be associated with the framework for a few basic interactions to a turn-based game. Here's another project for training for transit buses. This was a company that did training, and so this was developing the curriculum, doing the research, PowerPoint scenario development, and trainer notes. Here's another one that was a training guide for HR interns. So here's a person who had been an HR intern and then was hired full time, and they were looking back and said, "Wow, that was sort of miserable because there was no direction. I didn't know what to do," and so they provided a training guide. Middle Tennessee Natural Gas, a plan for presentation for the identification and the elimination of duplication in certain training manuals and systems manuals. Here's one that was a home repair after the 2010 flood. So there had actually been some initial repairs, and they were going to, but they weren't satisfactory, and so they were going back and doing some more repairs. So they were planning of that. Increased LinkedIn response rates for HCA Healthcare to increase sales leads. A business plan for an online language school. Here's another one. It's a training module at the end of week 4 for micro lab analyst position at Mars Global Services Laboratory, which would include the identifying the training that's required, standard operating procedures, and work instructions. A house remodel. This was actually a student who was exchanging work on a house remodel for in lieu of rent or decreased rent or something like that for a period of time. This was down in Franklin, Fayetteville, down in Fayetteville. Update department reporting system in a database for all 3 shifts and automatic reporting. Some students have done some on health improvement, getting in shape. I think I'm not going to allow those unless it's something really radical like a rehab from a injury or something like that. I don't think I'm going to allow those anymore because projects have not usually been very good of those. Here's a preparation for a race, and again, unless it's really something extraordinary, I would approach that one with skepticism. Here's some sort of branding guidelines for a not-for-profit agency, a landscape plan for a house, a plan for doing half marathons in all 50 states. I thought that one was fascinating. Chick-fil-A, delivery-focused locations and operator-led deliveries. It's almost like they're catering. And with COVID, they found that there was a greatly increased demand for this, but they weren't making money. So here's a plan that would basically let them know what type of catering should they accept in order to make money. Dollar General inbound load optimization. So they were working with 14 different vendors on analyzing why the trucks were not filled as much as they should be. I've done learning the guitar. But you're going to have to define that if you do something like that. I've had students say learn to play the ukulele. And again, you're going to have to define that. How do I know whether you've accomplished that or not? What's the scope of that project? Several trips, but I'm only going to accept trips if they're fairly complex and require some planning. I've had some people that wanted to go on vacation somewhere. I probably won't allow that anymore unless it's a really complex plan. And so those are some ideas. I mean, you can do personal, you can do home improvement, you can do self-improvement, you can do business. I would rather see business. I would rather see something, if it's not business, something that's related to improving your career, but not necessarily. So this period, I'm actually doing a plan for a trip, which is a bicycle trip, the length of down the Natchez Trace, 444 miles. Never done anything close to that, and it does justify some planning. But I'm also probably going to do a project for you this semester that is the creation of a new supply chain management MS program. And so, I'm sorry, that's not the one we're going to do. We're going to do the marketing of the supply chain management undergraduate program. How are we going to market that program? So I'm not a marketing guru, so that definitely requires some planning on my part. So I hope this gives you some ideas. Bounce your ideas off of your fellow students in the discussion boards. Enter the discussion boards early so you'll get feedback. So before it comes to me, it should go through the discussion boards. Thanks, and hope this helps.